Hi, I'm Chelsea Hewsome, your host of the Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm an entrepreneur, author, speaker, and mom of two. And I'm so tired of women not feeling like they can show up as fully expressed versions of themselves. So here, we're all about that unapologetically, because honestly, we don't have time not to. Literally because we're busy as F moms and entrepreneurs, but also figuratively because we don't know how much time we have on this planet and we want to make an impact now. But if we're doing this, we're making it real vibes only. So let's get inspired, laugh our asses off, quite possibly cry, and feel like you're sitting on the couch with your bestie and a glass of wine. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Lip Service and Lashes with Chelsea Hewsome. I'm so excited to have Jennifer Loehding with us here today. Jennifer, thank you for being a guest on the show.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Yes. Okay, you guys, Jennifer is a success architect, author, creator, and host of the Starter Girls podcast, which I have had the honor to be on. So we're going to talk all of that, but she really helps entrepreneurs, mostly females, break through subconscious blocks so they can increase their profits, reclaim their time, and ultimately design a life they love, which isn't that the goal? And she is trained technically to do business, life, or health coaching. So she's looking at holistic success across all the things. So again, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm excited, Chelsea.
It is. Okay. So I have all kinds of questions for you, but we're just going to take this where it goes. Cause I know when I was on your podcast, we could chat for like 20 hours. So
Yeah,
this will not be a 20-hour episode, everyone. Don't worry. Okay. So can you just share your story of kind of how you got to where you currently are in life?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to find the abbreviated version of it.
I know we have so many twists and turns.
Yeah, just to give you kind of a background, 20 plus years in Mary Kay. I was in leadership. So I've been around women for a very long time. I feel like I worked with them for a while.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things in Mary Kay. I feel like I learned a lot while I was there. And I honestly, when I was in there, I felt like I was going to be there for the rest of my career. I thought for as long as I'm going to work, I'm going to stay in Mary Kay. But, life always has kind of a funny way of throwing us through curveballs. And I was in 2012, was hit with a really rare nerve condition that turned my world upside down. And at that time, my kids were 16, 12, and 8. So think, homeroom mom, PTA mom, field trip mom, brownie mom, lacrosse, soccer, all of it. I was doing all the things as that mom and trying to run a successful business while navigating this condition. And so it really turned my world upside down. And what I found in that process I always say I had this like coming to Jesus moment where I woke up one day and realized after 4 years of battling this, that it wasn't changing. Nothing I was doing. I was already working out. I was already doing things that I felt like were working, but medicine wasn't going to be the answer. And so that kind of sent me on this journey of holistic success. And I'm not going to tell you that I woke up overnight and had all the magical answers, because no, I didn't. We're talking 12 years in the process now that I've been doing this, but it sparked this fire in me to find out more about how we are contributing to our own things that are going on in our world, whether it be, something within our relationships, within our health, within our work, whatever that is. And so that was kind of the tipping point for me, which led to, going into a lot of personal development. I was doing personal development, Mary Kay, for years, but I don't know that it ever really stuck until I got into this place.
Oh, yeah.
What's the saying, when the student's ready to receive, the teacher arrives?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. And I ended up going into doing life coaching. I did that really just for myself. I had no desire to work with people at this time. It was purely because I wanted to explore where I was and how I was contributing to all of the stuff that was going on in my world. And that led to one thing, led to another. Ended up getting, recently, I got keto certified, supplement certified in health. And so, and the podcast really sort of kind of came in all of that. The book came in, the book and the podcast were launched within 2 weeks of, of each other. You probably,
that's awesome.
They sort of kind of pile on top of each other, but they really were just a extension of what the message and what I'm currently doing now. So
I love that. I love that. So tell everyone tell about your podcast, Starter Girls. Who
Yeah.
should be listening to this? Because I guarantee a lot of people listening to this need to listen to yours as well.
Yeah, I love Starter Girls. I love talking
It's
about
so
Starter Girls.
great.
It's so funny because when we created it, we did it in October, started October of 2019, right before the pandemic hit.
Oh, yeah.
2 ex-Mary Kay sales directors. We had not a clue what we were doing. We walked into a co-op sharing space with styrofoam foam on the walls, and she was navigating one computer, I was navigating the other. We were running them live at the time. We didn't even know about recording. And so we just went in there with this passion and fire to inspire women. I mean, that's what it was all about for us. We just wanted to go in there and inspire women to do great things. Little did we know, or at least did I know, that show was going to twist and turn. And, my good friend would go on to do other things. And then I'd bring another beautiful friend in, and then she would leave to go do other things. And we would, launch another show, and then ultimately come right back to Starter Girls. So it's a show about empowerment. My objective with Starter Girls is holistic success. It's to help women thrive in all areas of their lives. So relationships, money, career, health, and well-being.
I love that so much. All right. So I know you've taken this journey with wellness, but today, with all your research, all your learning, how do you define wellness in your life today? And kind of what are the biggest things you found to make you feel really good and be thriving?
Yeah, that's a good question. And thank you for asking that, because it's what I'm passionate about for sure. And mostly because I've had to deal with these, I got diagnosed with another weird condition in 2021. And so I've had to learn to navigate those disorders, and, neither of them are things that completely go away. They're chronic. And so when you get into a situation where you're dealing with chronic things, you have to become masters at how to thrive. Otherwise, you become a victim of the condition. And clearly, you and I know, I know you're not, and I am no way happy being a victim of anything. And so, for me, wellness is really about thriving. It's about feeling good. And I tell people I measure my wellness on how excited I am about my work. And what I mean by that is because I love what I get to do. And when I'm excited about creating and manifesting and engaging with people, then I know that I'm doing okay. And so there are a lot of things I do. There's a lot of things. Obviously, I'm a low carber, so I am very particular about what I actually put into my body, but also, how I try to construct my morning and my day. I'm very conscientious about, I'm not always good at it, but I'm conscientious about it, mindful of my sleep, my stress levels, what I'm doing to help my nervous system, I love to read, am I getting that in my day? So I'm really just mindful about how I construct my day in and day out.
I love that. It's true. It is all about you, how you feel. And I like how you gauge it by how excited am I about what I'm doing for, for work and what I'm putting out in the world. I love that. So I know you mentioned all the things, and I know your kids are a little bit older now, but for moms listening that are in that stage, I'm sure you can remember, we're mom tax season. It's just it's insane, especially when you're working to juggle it all. What would you say to moms who are in it and they're feeling overwhelmed and just maybe burnt out or stressed out right now? Do you have any words of wisdom for them?
Yeah, you gave me chills because I remember it.
Oh, yeah.
My kids,
how could we forget?
I feel like no matter where we are, our kids, we go through stages. Mine are all young adults now, 28, 24. My youngest will be 21 in May. And, I remember being in the terrible twos and thinking, oh my gosh, this is awful, because they're just like little maniacs, right?
They are.
And then we got to teenage years and I realized, oh my gosh, that's hard too.
It's another form of maniac, because they're moody.
Then we got to young adult and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's another stage, Chelsea. It's like they're trying to bridge into adults and they're stuck between being still a kid and adult. Still a hard stage, right?
Yes.
So I feel like no matter where you are, it can be hard. But when they're young and you're in the thick of that running, just stick with it. Give yourself grace. Allow yourself to mess up. It's okay. It's going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I started my business with Mary Kay. I was 27 at the time, and my daughter wasn't even 2 years old. That's the 28-year-old now. And I just remember, trying to navigate the waters of, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be a mom and I'm trying to run a business. And eventually I think you sort of get to a place where you realize that they're better because you're better. You're doing
Yes.
better, and you're
Totally.
taking care of you, and you're doing something that you're passionate and you love, and you're showing up differently.
Yes. I love that. I love that so much. All right. So we were talking before, because you have to laugh at yourself and like stop trying to be perfect, because when you are juggling it all, something's got to give and a ball is going to drop, or you're thriving at this area and then this area's, you're struggling a little bit, and it is the ebb and flow of life, right? Sometimes something needs your attention more and others, whatever. So, can you share a mom fail story? Like
Yeah.
yeah, we all have many, many.
Yes, I've had plenty of mom fails, but the thing that always comes back to mind, and I shared this with you, it's one story that always comes up. I think it's so funny. So back in my early days at Mary Kay, and this is when my youngest was a baby. I think he was probably, I don't even know if he was two. He was still in diapers, and I don't know about you guys, but by the time you get to the third child, the diaper's like falling off. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not caring when the diaper comes off. I'm about
Yeah.
convenience. So I went to this appointment to meet this lady, and I think, I don't know if I was trying to close her, to recruit her, or trying to get her to buy something, but I took my child with me.
Yeah.
He got fascinated with this doggy door and decided that like he was going to go through the door, and got stuck with his rear in the middle of the door with a diaper on. And I remember being just like mortified.
Oh,
Like, oh
that's
my gosh,
funny.
I think I would laugh now. I think I would just think it's so funny now. But back then I thought, oh my gosh, this woman's going to think I'm terrible, one, for bringing my kid, and then the kids are stuck in the door.
Calling all badass moms and entrepreneurs ready to stop surviving and start thriving. Y'all, I am officially opening spots for one-on-one mentorship. This is designed exclusively for the women who know they're meant for more, but feel stuck in the chaos of balancing business, motherhood, and everything in between. I'm not just another coach. I'm a proven business owner who's built an award-winning company, written a best-selling book, launched a podcast, and built a platform, all while raising a family. If you're ready to get unstuck and take bold action, master time management and boundaries, build an unshakable CEO mindset, and prioritize your energy without guilt, then let's make your next level happen. Faster, smarter, and with zero apologies. This is not for the excuse makers. It's only for women ready to go all in on themselves. Remember, spots are limited, so if you are interested, head on over now to Instagram and send me a DM with the word mentorship. I cannot wait to talk to you, girl. I know. And it is, at some point, you just got to laugh and be like, whatever. You know what I find super funny is during COVID, I still see these videos and I sit and laugh my ass off, where there's like a news anchor on TV, but he's at home and it's COVID. And then you see the door open and like one little kid comes in, and then another little kid comes in, and then the mom comes running in. I mean, it like makes me, and he's trying to keep going on his news thing. And like, or you see pictures or where they're doing a news anchor thing and the husband's been in the shower behind. I mean, it's hysterical. You're like, oh my God, you can't help but laugh, or you just would want to crawl under a rock and die. Right.
I'd be that wife that would come in and be like cussing in the background.
Oh, me too. Like, oh, we're live on air. Oopsies. Right. Yeah, right.
Husband would be like,
y'all are making this painful for me. I love those videos. They crack me up every time. All right. I know you've been through health challenges. I want to, like, business wise, can you share a time that highlights when you really had to have some grit and resilience, or you had to pivot? Yeah. And, maybe you're going towards one thing and you're like, oh, nope, that's, we can keep going, but we have to kind of pivot, or just when you really had to depend on that grit.
Yeah. Well, I'll take you back really quick, because having come from the Mary Kay world, I was in leadership, and when I was in there, and I've always been a very high achiever, meaning I love to go after things, and you're probably the same way. I love to go after things, and I will push myself. I will grind and grind and grind. So when I was in Mary Kay, because we were always working towards goals, I owned several cars in the company, and I got really used to tracking and doing all of that stuff. And when I had that first health challenge come in, I fought this after 4 years. I think it started 2012, and I think it was like 2017, somewhere around there. I made the decision to step down for Mary Kay, step down from my leadership position, and we'd signed a contract. So I had to send in my intent to leave this position. And it was a position that I had worked, really hard to achieve, and I had held it for, for almost 14 years. People here, I'd moved to Dallas. That's how they knew me, was in that position. And so I had to take this huge humbling experience to come back. But that was really just the tip of the iceberg, because when I was diagnosed again in 2021 with the next condition, I thought the first one was going to take me out. The second one was awful. I was in the ER 8 times for that particular disease. And I really had to buckle up. I mean, I had to buckle up. And I tell you this because I had to take a back seat in a lot of the work. And so during this time, I was running my podcast. I was doing that. And I tell people, go back and look. You'll see, in the periods where I was doing my podcast, you'll probably be able to tell where I wasn't feeling very well. Because I would have people come on and they would say, are you doing okay today? And I was trying to hold it together to do it. And I think that was probably the hardest thing, because I wanted to continue to keep moving. And I realized my body wouldn't allow me to do that. And so I will say this, in the aftermath of that, this is why I talk about the grace, giving yourself grace. And really, when I tell you I live for the moments when I feel good, I know that I'm thriving, when I'm excited, because I know what it feels like not to have that. And so it's taught me some really valuable lessons, and one of which being okay in the calm, like just being okay, settling down. You don't have to be grinding all the time. You don't have to be punching numbers. You don't have to be plugging all the time. And so, I feel like I've had a few really hard years since 2021. And now I'm working with a functional doctor now. And so it's really not that I haven't done that before, but I've got one now that I really like. And I tell people every day, I play hurt a lot of days. Every day I go through something, but I'm learning to navigate that better so that I can show up at the level that I want to show up and still feel like I'm actually succeeding at something.
I love that. And you're bringing in people to help you and kind of dial it in. And every day is not perfect, but, trying your best. I love that. And I love that you brought up being okay in the calm. I literally am going into kind of just where I'm at right now is trying to do less, trying to leave room for peace, for calm, for creativity, not for, we have to take a step back sometimes. And I feel like I constantly am just trying to do stuff, or at night I'm like wandering around the house, just like picking stuff up or whatever. And my husband's like, are you going to come sit down? And I'm like, oh, hadn't thought about that. I have maybe a hard time, like, quote, relaxing sometimes, or there's always something to do. Right. But I love that, like giving people permission to rest, especially your body. If you're not feeling good, if you're go, it's just going to be worse and harder. Right. You need to pull it back and actually rest.
Yeah. We get so comfortable in, especially those of us that are high achievers and success-driven people. I think we get so comfortable in the doing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Doing.
Yeah. I think that makes us feel safe and calm sometimes.
Yes,
weirdly.
because we're used to it, right? And I don't know how you grew up, but I know for me personally, I grew up in a house where we were always doing.
Yeah.
And so we never really had that just calm down. So that's why I mentioned in the very beginning, being very mindful about my day. I'm not perfect at it. Like this week, we've had contractors here. It's been a little chaotic. And so I told my husband, even over the weekend, I said, man, because I have one of those nice, lovely sleep watches that, right here, that kind of stress me out. Sometimes I have to take it off because I will look at it and go, oh my gosh, my heart rate was elevated. Oh my gosh, I was in the orange all night. But I will tell, the reason I'm telling you this is because there's a direct correlation. When I am not paying attention to how I'm treating myself, that gets off. And so it's a really good indicator for me to say, hey, you need to go back to focusing on your calm. Fine. Yes. I'm not talking about all day, Chelsea. I'm not saying we don't do anything, right? I'm saying we just find time where we say it's okay to not be busy every single minute. you
Yeah, like
know?
take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, or an hour, whatever. It's not like we're
Yeah.
just friggin' laying on the couch all day, like
Right.
chilling. But I think I'm trying to force myself to do that because there's beauty in it. And that's maybe where I just maybe sit with my thoughts. And that's where creative things come to me.
Yeah.
I think we block maybe a lot when we're go, 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 in
Right.
the chaos of just life and motherhood and business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You get stuck in that grind. It's hard to be creative when you're like, I got to do this. I got to move the
Yeah.
kids, get the laundry, do the dinner.
Yes.
Yeah,
Feed
absolutely.
people. What? I gotta feed people. Yeah, it's
I love that feed people.
yeah.
I'm giving you hope, Chelsea. They do get bigger. Mine are all like eating on their own now. So it's really
I
nice. I just
know.
gotta, kind of
You gotta
feed
feed
myself.
yourself.
And sometimes my husband.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, really, you can't just handle it. No. I love that. What is one thing you hope people remember about your journey? Just in life in general. Like, what do you want people to think of when they think of you?
I would like to think that I inspired them to never give up, to
Mm,
always fight for
I
something.
love that.
Whatever it is, don't bow out. I put a post up today just about starter girls on my personal page because we hit 14,000 subscribers
Oh, that's
today.
awesome.
It is. If you and
Congrats.
I, we're
That's
like, yes,
huge.
yes, right. But this has
Yeah.
been a long process, right? And
Yeah.
I said something about, not bowing out early, right?
Mm,
And that's just it. So many times in life, I think that we do something that's a little bit hard and we bow out. And I feel like there has been nothing easy in my life.
yeah.
I feel like that everything that happens, there's a reason I need to
Hmm.
speak it to other people. Like I feel like I'm a vehicle for all of these hard things because there's a message that I need to put out to somebody that they need to
Yes.
hear it. And so for me, it's just don't bow out, don't give up. If it's important, keep fighting. If you need a solution, whether it's your health, a relationship, your finances, whatever it is, if you need a solution, keep asking questions, keep searching.
I love that. And you easily with significant health things, you easily could have been like, I don't have the time or energy for this podcast right now. No one would have blamed you at all, right? But so people seeing you were showing up even when you didn't feel the best, but you kept going, right? And that's inspiring and people do need to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. There
I
were
love
plenty
that.
of days I was like, please, no.
Oh, I'm sure you're like, suck it up and yeah,
Yeah, I'm
slap
like,
on a
Jennifer,
smile.
or I'd move somebody around and then I just feel so guilty. I'd be like, I can't
Oh,
move them again, because I'm a woman of my word and I'm not perfect.
yeah.
But if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I like to do what I say I'm going to do. And there were so many times, when you're not well, your only goal is to get well, right? And
Yeah.
then you've got all these things pressing you. And for anybody listening to it, because we've all been there where we haven't felt good, right? And you're just like,
Yes.
I can't think about this when I'm trying to do this. And when you're doing that for a lot of days, after a while, you just get to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm just going to pause this right now. And when I get
Yeah.
better, we'll pick this up. So
Yeah. Well,
it
it
gets
is
tricky.
like you have to kind of be in that vibe, in that space. And it is hard. Like I've had migraines before and I'm like, okay, I have a podcast recording or I have a meeting or whatever. And you got to
Yeah.
suck, you just got to suck it up. But you could probably see it. You don't feel
Right.
that, good. And you can tell in how people show up, even if when they're trying their best to suck it up and get through it. Right. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
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 I have had migraines my whole life, so I commend
Oh,
you
Lordy.
because they do mess you up.
Yes. I've
Yes.
been talking to a lot of my friends and still don't really know mine started in my neck and it's like I don't really
Mm,
know why, but I
yeah.
have muscle relaxers, I have migraine pills, I've had MRIs, all the stuff, but you feel like complete crap,
Yeah.
and trying to have to get through that. It's hard.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not fun. Mine are
No.
so weird now. They've changed since I don't know, in the last, like, I got into my early 50s and they went weird. So now I just thankfully, when I do low carb, I don't get them as much when
Oh,
I
that's
keep the
good.
sugars out. But even when I do, I get the silent ones now. So I just get all the aura and the weird
Oh,
stuff,
weird.
but no headache. And I'm like, okay,
Really interesting. But I've never had it where it like changes your eye stuff. I'll get sensitive to light and things like that, but
Yeah.
interesting. So you don't even have an actual headache. It's just changes your
No, I
vision.
just get kaleidoscopes and I get the weird eyes and I just feel weird and I have to go lie down for like 20 minutes because I can't see, I can't drive because it's like somebody's shining a light in your eye and I feel kind of off. But usually if I lie down for, an hour or whatever, I get back up, I'll go again. But I will tell you, they will relapse if that happens. Like I might get another one the next day or whatever.
Oh, really? So they're like kind of chunked together maybe. Oh, weird.
Yeah, migraines are weird, but I commend you because showing up for one of those two is brutal.
It is. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your story and just being real. And we just so appreciate you. But I want tell listeners, where can we find you and where's your podcast? And then how can we support you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm not hard to find. So, and I'm assuming you'll have my name in there. So
I will have everything in all the show notes.
Yeah.
So yes.
Once they know the spelling, I'm not hard to find. If you punch in my name, it'll come up. My website is under my name and everything is tied to that. So you can find the podcast, you can find all my work, everything I'm doing in there. And then the podcast, of course, is on all the platforms. So if you look up Starter Girls in YouTube, you'll find it there. It's on iTunes, Spotify. But I just say, go, if you look my name up and get from the show notes, Jennifer Loehding, that'll take you to pretty much.
Yep. And she has a great website. Check that out. And congrats, 14,000.
Thank you. Yeah,
that is huge. I have like 30.
You just started, though. You just started. See, this is where it's so good because I'm giving you the hope right now.
You are giving me the hope.
I won't. You just got to stick with it because there have been so many times I'm telling you, like, I've been like, why am I doing this? Nobody's paying attention. And then, I looked at it today. I was like, because, once you start going and looking at stats, it gets kind of fun when things are moving. Yeah. We have like 5,000 new subscribers in 28 days. And I'm like,
that's amazing. You're like, what did I do to do that? That's incredible.
Just once it starts kind of moving a little bit, and the weird thing is now it's like, I'm getting like, I say weird thing. It's just because now they're kind of driving me nuts, but I'm getting all these like agents are trying to put their people on the shows and I can't keep up. And I'm like, I almost think I'm going to have to like get a helper just to sift
through all that. Yeah. That's amazing. But it is, and you got to be in it for the long haul. Right. And I was saying on a story last week, even if you're in a bad mood, let's say, and you come, like when I'm guest on your podcast, other podcasts, even if you're, let's say, having a bad day and you show up and you're on a podcast, you stop and you're like, yes, I needed that. My soul needed that. Like I have never been a guest or recorded my own podcast and ended in a bad mood ever. Like it lights me up having conversations with people. And I'm like, man, I think I just kind of like stepped into one of my favorite things that maybe I've ever done, and I drug my feet for years, but isn't that, I mean, I know you get it. Like it's how it lights you up. It energizes you, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, sometimes it could be my day because it may be there's not a whole lot going on in that moment. And I've met so many incredible. I mean, we just uploaded our 500th video on Starter Girls. And I'm thinking, gosh, between that and Behind the Dreamers, how many people I've had the privilege of meeting, you included. Yes. I mean, I have just met so many incredible people from all over the world.
Yeah. And their stories are so inspiring. It's like, how can you have a bad day doing that? So it's such a powerful thing. And just sharing people's stories of we've all been through things, right? We've all overcome so much. And I believe, and I know you believe this too, the whole point is to, if we've made it through stuff, share because other people are in it right now and they need to hear you're going to be okay. You're going to come out stronger, right? Like stay with it. Don't give up.
Yep. Don't bow out.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I so appreciate you and you're wonderful. Everyone, please go check out her podcast. Follow her. She's wonderful. She always has an inspiring message, fantastic guests, and I so appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Chelsea, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Everyone, that is another Lip Service and Lashes podcast. Always remember, no BS, just real vibes. If you loved the episode, share it on Instagram and tag me so I can say thank you and meet you. Or share it with a girlfriend who you know would love this too. always remember, no BS, just real vibes. See you next time on Lip Service and Lashes.